Is what we're about ready to taste maybe the best whiskey to ever come out of Makers Mark Distillery? That we're going to discuss here today on the My Bourbon Journey Whiskey Review channel. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining as always. So I had mentioned maybe the best whiskey to come out of Makers Mark Distillery. That we're going to touch on here in a second. So rather than kind of prolong this thing, let's kind of dive right into this. As you guys can see, this is going to be the newest release from Makers Mark Distillery, their Star Hill Farms. This guy's coming in at 114.7 proof. Really interesting mash bill. Obviously, everything that comes out of Makers Mark Distillery is all going to be either a wheated bourbon or now today with the Star Hill Farm, a wheat whiskey. So mash bill in this was 51% soft red winter wheat, 27% malted soft red winter wheat, and 22% malted barley. So again, very interesting, very different than what it is that they're typically used to doing. And again, this is Makers Mark getting very much outside their kind of normal box for the most part. So the whiskey was non-age stated and the MSRP was going to come in at right around that $100 price point. All right, so let's waste no more time. Let's kind of dive right into this. And as you can see, I mean, this is a beautiful, dark, rich, burnt orange type of color. So it is maybe one of the things that stands out the most about this whiskey immediately before you kind of get into any nosing and tasting. So let's go ahead and dive into the nose and see what this one's got to offer. Ooh, that's dark. That's very dark. Very much of a dark, rich, heavy fruit profile so far. A beautiful, beautiful kind of rich, sweet oak, beautiful baking spices on this one. Again, yeah, a lot of that sweet, rich oak that you'd love to kind of get into on a whiskey. Yeah, like I mentioned, beautiful baking spices in this, very heavy, kind of that cinnamon, nutmeg. It feels like something where if it was like a fresh pie coming out of the oven, you smell all of those beautiful kind of sugars, brown sugars, cinnamons, nutmegs, things along those lines. So think very rich and dark, like immediately. Yeah, this may be like the perfect example of where we are now with wheat whiskeys. I think it's been kind of an interesting category that a lot of people really have had kind of a difficult time trying to figure out, you know, really kind of how to categorize this thing, whether I should like it, is it something I shouldn't like, whatever it may be. But I think the attention to wheat whiskeys has now started to ramp up enough to kind of pique people's interest. And again, when or if you're able to try this, I think you'll really start to appreciate what it is that you can really pull and really simply enjoy from a wheat whiskey. Yeah, just beautiful nose overall, rich, dark, you know, all of everything that you want in that kind of profile. So, all right, let's not waste any more time. Let's kind of dive into the palate and see what this Star Hill Farm wheat whiskey has to offer. Cheers. Boy, so right out of the gate for me, there's this really heavy or rich kind of chocolate, strawberry, chocolate, raspberry, a very kind of heavy fruit note with a lot of spice. Again, that oak feels like perfect on this. Like there's just the right amount of oak, not too much, not too little. Settles really in nicely with that rich kind of chocolate, raspberry, strawberry kind of note. Again, beautiful baking spices. Almost this like vanilla custard that's there kind of that hits and sits right there on the mid palate on this one. Yeah, so with this being a wheat whiskey, you know, you do get a little bit of that kind of wheat funk. You know, there is that wheatiness that it has. You know, oftentimes people will refer to it as like a doughy or a bready kind of taste. There is that. There's that wheat funk that's there, but really without it being, I'll say, off-putting. This is a very rich, both decadent and savory aspects that this one has to it. So it is very much of that kind of like whiskey journey, so to speak, with this, because it's going to be something that's going to give you these different layers of flavors kind of throughout. So I think as we kind of dive into this thing a little bit more, and you can see this is pretty far down in the bottle. So A lot of airtime has been given to this thing so far. So it's really going to be probably, hitting its stride right about this point. Yeah, I love the overall like fruit that it has that kind of combines with that oak, those brown sugars. There's a little bit of a confectionery feel to it. Great baking spices on this. The balance of this is incredible. And I know I mentioned early on, on the intro, is this maybe the best whiskey to come from Maker's Mark or the distillery? I know this is Star Hill Farms, but boy, I mean, going out on a limb with this and maybe saying that this is the best whiskey that they've ever released, I don't think it would be too far off. And really off the kind of the top of my head, I don't know if I've had a more rich, well-balanced, while it's still being an elegant kind of whiskey that this is. It is absolutely incredible. I mean, for those of you who have this or are able to get it, I think you're in for not only a surprise coming out of Makers, but you're in for a real treat. I mean, it is an incredibly rich, savory, decadent whiskey. And we're only a few minutes into this thing. It's giving an awful lot. So, right now, again, we'll kind of continue to dive into this and see what else it kind of pulls out. But so far, man, I'd go out on the limb and say this is maybe the best whiskey that Makers has ever produced. Now, again, I've not had, maybe in fairness, some of the old, Makers, whiskeys or bourbons. But man, this thing is an absolute beast of a whiskey. And I think for a lot of you who have a chance to try it, is really going to enjoy this. And even when you start to factor in the mouthfeel, again, at 114.7 proof, it's rich, it's creamy, it's velvety, it's sitting right there on the palate. It's allowing for all of those flavors just to kind of explode on the palate. So the balance, the richness that it has, that I kind of can continue to say, is all there. Like, this is, for me, everything that you'd want in a whiskey, whether it's bourbon, a wheat whiskey, whatever it may be. This is what I think a lot of people really are kind of on the lookout for, or always kind of searching for. So again, kind of this in a nutshell, it's an absolute buy if you can find it. At $100, I don't know if you're going to get it for $100 or not, or wherever you'll be able to get it. But if you're able to get your hands on this, I would say 100% do it. It's worth probably even paying up premium or secondary kind of prices for this. It's falling into that special whiskey kind of category. So, there you have it. I mean, this, as the Star Hill Farms, their very first or introductory wheat whiskey, this thing is, man, it's really taken me back a little bit. It's just, in a nutshell, an absolutely incredible whiskey. When you've got the chocolate, strawberry, raspberry, the baking spice, the brown sugars, a little bit of that kind of confectionery that's there, both the combo of it being both decadent and savory at the same time, incredible baking spices. Again, it makes for like almost the making of that perfect whiskey. So again, would I, from a recommendation standpoint, yes, buy it for $100. If you get it for that, buy 2 or 3 of them. It is that good. So, there you have it. If you have this bottle, let me know in the comments below your thoughts overall on this. I mean, it is, to me, again, whether you agree or disagree, maybe the best whiskey that's ever come from, Maker's Mark Distillery as a whole. I know it, saying Star Hill Farm on it, but absolutely incredible whiskey. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Greatly appreciate it. If you'd like to follow me, you can on Facebook and Instagram, those places at My Bourbon Journey. If you'd like to help support the channel and become part of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, make sure you check out that Patreon link in the description below. That down there with a lot of other great things for you as well. So there you have it, Star Hill Farms, the 2025 first or inaugural release of this. I think it's a special whiskey, and I think you guys will too. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. And as always, remember, it's about the journey and not the destination. Cheers. We'll see you in the next video.
I've been feeling myself, I've been trying to keep it all on track. I could tell you took your time, I've been thumbing through your gram like that. Bring my energy back, girl, you're something like the sunlight. Girl, you're something like the sunshine.